MCG, the centre of sporting greatness, not just here in Victoria, but nationally and indeed internationally as well. And I'm joined by Minister for Tourism, Sport and Major Events, Steve Dimopoulos. I've acknowledged Stuart Fox here at the MCG, also Nick Hockley from Cricket Australia. Can I acknowledge too the team from Visit Victoria that are with us here today, Janet Whiting and Brendan McClements. And can I also thank Scott Boland and Sophie Milano, who's joined us here today, two of our outstanding Victorian cricketers who perform on the national and international stage, inspiring so many future generations of cricketers here in Victoria. And we're here today to announce a new partnership between the Victorian Government and Cricket Australia, which builds on the history and traditions that cricket is so well known for. Cricket loves honouring its history and traditions, and we particularly love honouring them here at the MCG. But doing so in a way that also provides the opportunity to inspire young boys and girls, men and women to pick up the sport, continue with the sport, and who knows, also one day perform at the national and international level like Scott and Sophie do right now. And this is an exciting new partnership that does honour those traditions of Boxing Day, the MCG, the home of cricket here in Australia, and also celebrates the future of the sport. The new partnership that we are announcing here today is about locking in the Boxing Day test here at the MCG till 2030. This is a great partnership that we have with Cricket Australia, and the Minister will go in some of the additional activities that will be delivered as part of that Boxing Day test that will be here each and every year till 2030. And of course, this year's Boxing Day test is of particular interest. Australia playing India here at the MCG, which is absolutely guaranteed to pack the crowd out, and also to give us the opportunity to showcase the MCG, Melbourne and Victoria to literally billions of eyeballs back onto the subcontinent who will be tuned into the game here over the 5 days. Well, let's maybe assume 5 days. We'll see how it goes. At up to 5 days of the Boxing Day test. Also, too, as part of this partnership package, we're thrilled to announce that in early 2025 there will also be the Ashes, a women's test played between Australia and England here at the MCG as part of a day-night test for women's cricket. Women's cricket is such a beautiful game to also watch, and it is really wonderful to see young girls out in parks and cricket ovals around the state aspiring to be a superstar of the future like Sophie is, and this is a game that will also give us the opportunity to showcase women's cricket here at the MCG. And then also too, today we're particularly excited to announce a big and historic match that will be held here at the MCG in March 2027. 2027 marks the 150th anniversary of that first historic Ashes test between England and Australia. In 1877, that match was won by Australia by 45 runs, and then 100 years later, in 1977, the exact same result came about after 5 action-packed days. That is remembered as one of the greatest test matches ever to be played. Well, in March 2027, we are going to have here the 150th anniversary of that test with a one-off test match between Australia and England here at the MCG. This will be again an opportunity to showcase the MCG, showcase Melbourne and Victoria to the world, not just to cricket tragics around the world, but to sports lovers around the world, because this will be an historic occasion as well as a showcase of elite cricketing activity right here at the MCG. I want to thank the teams who have driven this new partnership between the Victorian Government and Cricket Australia. It's an exciting one because it charts the course to continue to grow and support the sport here in Victoria into the future. It also gives us the opportunity to continue to build on that strong and powerful major events calendar that we have here in Victoria, and we'll be building on that. We've made some announcements in recent weeks. We've got more announcements to come like this one here today, where we are building on that strong pipeline of major events for our city and state. We are the major events capital. It supports tens of thousands of jobs across the industry, across tourism, hospitality and sport. It also brings so many visitors to our city and state who know that they can come and see a fantastic elite international event, have a great experience, spend time in our city and state and enjoy all that the state has to offer. But particularly here at the MCG, it is very special to make this announcement here at the MCG, because it does mean we've locked the Boxing Day test in till at least 2030. We've got the AFL Grand Final here to 2057. But also as part of that action-packed calendar, we've got the Grand Prix till 2037 and the Australian Open till 2046. These are anchors in our major events calendar that the other activity just builds and grows around. It supports jobs, it supports our tourism, hospitality and retail sector. It also supports the opportunity Victorians to get to see elite sport, elite international sport in our own backyard that makes it more accessible and inspires future generations to one day be playing here on the MCG. I'll now hand over to the Minister to add to my comments.
Thank you, Premier. And the Ashes are iconic, they're synonymous with cricket, and we're really pleased to bring about this 150th anniversary match, but also the iconic women's Ashes, effectively England and Australia. This is very, very special because for us, we wanted to partner with Cricket Australia to take this beautiful sport and this game further, and I think today's announcement demonstrates that, not only in the longevity of the arrangements, but in all the new content. And the Premier's taking us through some of those, so I won't repeat it other than to say, but the other special thing about this announcement, and it is something extraordinarily different and special than what we've done previously, and that is we are going to festivalise cricket like you've never seen. We're going to raise the show so high in terms of live music and food and festival zones and fan zones and community outreach, come and try activities. This will be like the Australian Open Festival of cricket over the next 7 years, and that's what I think is really meaningful about the arrangements and the partnership with Cricket Australia, and we're very, very proud of it. If you think about it, cricket is an international sport. There are millions and millions of people globally, tens of millions of people globally, that watch cricket matches wherever they may be. It may not have to be their own team playing. It's a beloved sport by many, many people around many countries in the world, and the fact that Melbourne and Australia are considered to be iconic in that matrix of cricket fraternity and infrastructure, and Melbourne specifically because of this hallowed ground we're in right now, this is going to be to use Danny Pearson's words, this is going to go off. The next 7 years are going to be it's going to be amazing. And I think to finish on the Premier's point, Melbourne and Victoria are always great places to see something special. But something extraordinary happens between about September and March. And if you think about the footy finals, you then think about the Always Live announcement the Premier made the other day, the racing carnival, and the cricket content we've got, Pakistan, and right through to the Boxing Day test, and then the Women's Ashes early next year. Then we've got the Australian Open, whole range of festivals from food and wine to fashion festivals, ending with effectively the Formula One Grand Prix. The next 6 or 7 months in Melbourne are an enormous economic boost, an energy boost for this state and this city, but a jobs boost. There are literally hotels and restaurants and retail shops planning their rosters around Melbourne's major events calendar over the next 6 or 7 months. This is iconic for the sports that we're supporting. It's iconic for the visibility of this great state, but it's iconic for jobs in the tourism and the visitor economy. We're very, very proud to have partnered with both Cricket Australia and the MCC, and I might now call on CEO of Cricket Australia, Nick Hockley.
Thank you, Minister, and thank you, Premier. It's such a privilege to be here with you both, with Sophie, with Scott, with Stuart Fox from the MCC, also the team from Visit Victoria, Brenda McClements at the team. The Boxing Day test is one of the iconic sporting events on the global calendar, and we're absolutely delighted that it will be at the MCG for the next 7 years. I'd like to just say an enormous thank you on behalf of Cricket Australia and all the Australian cricket to the Premier, the Victorian Government. And we're also extremely excited that the 150th anniversary test will be played here at the MCG 50 years on from the centenary test, and a brilliant sequel to that very first test, the centenary test. It's amazing when you talk to people about the centenary test, just how many people remember it as one of the great test matches of all time, and completely remarkable that both the very first test and the 100th test were won by the same margin of 45 runs. So that match will be a real coming together of world cricket. It'll be a global celebration of the pinnacle format of the game that's so loved and we need to really protect into the future. So what better year than to start off this incredible partnership. We've got India coming for the Border Gavaskar Trophy, and as well as the really heavyweight contest of world cricket between the number 1 and number 2 ranked teams that everyone in the world wants to see. It's going to be an incredible celebration of not just cricket but of culture, and through the partnership we're excited about huge fan festivals out in Yarra Park, and we just encourage everyone to get down. The highest attendance at a Boxing Day test match was the 2013-2014 Ashes, 91,112 fans, and with the Border Gavaskar Trophy and an Ashes next year, we've got a great opportunity to welcome even more people to the MCG over the next 2 years. We're also very excited today to announce a series of national partnerships. So today we're delighted to announce that the SCG will host the New Year's Test for the next 7 years. The Adelaide Oval will host the pre-Christmas Test for the next 7 years. The Perth Stadium will host the first men's test of the summer for the next 3 years, and the Gabba, as well as hosting a Border Gavaskar match against India this year, will host a day-night test as part of the Ashes series next year. And to all governments, venues, all our partners across the country, just want to say an enormous thank you. These partnerships provide invaluable marketing, city precinct activation that are all about making international cricket and test cricket just even bigger events. So a really exciting day for Australian cricket. I'd again like to say an enormous thank you to the Victorian Government, to the Premier, the Minister, to Stuart, the MCC, Visit Victoria, Brendan and team. And we just can't wait to welcome everyone to the cricket this summer. Thank you.
Excellent. Nick, very good. We'll do cricket first and maybe last as well. Who do you want to?
Are you guys happy to have a chat?
Scott and Sophie, do you want to?
Teamwork.
How do you guys feel about this coming back to the MCG? It's been locked in.
Yeah, awesome. I don't think there's any better place in Australia to play cricket, so lucky to lock it in for the next 7 years.
Yeah, this is your hometown. It must be pretty exciting to play here. Somewhere, I'm guessing you came as a child, you've always played.
Yeah, definitely. And then, it's pretty special. Like, I was lucky enough to make my debut here, and then hopefully in the next 7 years, there's more Victorians that can come through and make their debut here as well.
And it's a big one, India. How do we feel about that?
Yeah, probably one of the toughest assignments in international cricket. I'm sure they'll come here. Their fans will come and support. We played a neutral test match against India last year in England, and it felt like it was a home game for them. So hopefully Victorian fans and Australian fans can come out and support us this summer.
Say, Scott, our bowling stocks are pretty good at the moment. What do you reckon your chances of being here on Boxing Day?
Yeah, they're very good. I'm not sure. I hope it happens, but not holding my breath.
And so, can you just put in context for us what the women's game means? And obviously, we've seen some excellent competition already on such a massive stadium. What is it going to do for the game?
Yeah, I think having this pink ball test match here in January is going to be huge. Hopefully we can get a lot of young boys and girls, their parents, groups of mates coming to watch, because it's a really historic occasion for not only women's cricket but women's sport. And yeah, there's been some incredible memories out here for the Australian women's cricket team going back to the 2020 World Cup. But yeah, we're very much looking forward to getting back out here.
Have you noticed anything change, particularly with grassroots girls cricket since that 2020 World Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. I think 3 or 4 days after that final COVID hit, and so there was probably a little bit of a hold on that. But since everything started coming up and ramping up, you can definitely see all the improvements in and the numbers in young girls playing the game, and there's just so many opportunities out there, whether it's with a bat or ball or any other sport. It's great to see so many young boys and girls playing sport.
So you've got a World Cup coming up in not too long. How are the preparations and where do you think you'll be?
It's a great question. The preparations are going really well from our point of view. We've had a few camps and everything in Brisbane over the last 2 or 3 months, building up to what's going to be a massive World Cup, and then a huge summer, including an Ashes Test match at the MCG. But yeah, in terms of where the World Cup's going to be, I don't think we fully know yet.
Have the players been consulted at all around the safety process with Bangladesh?
Yeah, we've been in chats with Cricket Australia, and they're doing a lot of work with the ICC, and we've got full faith that they'll probably come up with the right decision for everyone.
Just really quickly, was there ever any chance that it wasn't going to be here at the MCG?
Step up.
Yeah.
Look, I think we've been acutely aware of the history and the tradition. I think the great thing about the partnership that we've forged is that it provides everybody certainty, and that's fans here, but it's also it's the cricketing public around the world. And so now people will know the order of the test. They'll be able to plan their plan coming out to Australia 2-3 years in advance, and I think what that's going to mean is we're just going to have more cricket fans coming here each year, and the test series are going to, and these events are just going to get bigger and better.
Premier, we often hear about other states wanting to poach our events.
We
Do we have to fight for this one?
Well, we don't want to go too much into details of those negotiations, but other than to say, I'm not surprised that other states want to emulate what we have here in Melbourne and Victoria, but simply they can't. We have the MCG. We not only have the MCG, but we have a culture and the way we host major events. They are professionally run, they're fantastic experiences, they have the support of a very strong tourism and hospitality industry that means you not just get to experience a fantastic event, you get to have a fantastic experience spending time in and around Melbourne. So it's here till 2030, as is the Grand Final, as is the Australian Open and the Grand Prix. We've got a big calendar ahead of us, and it's going to be an exciting summer ahead.
How much do we pay for it?
Well, as we previously say, the funding for this comes through the arrangements we have with Visit Victoria, and we provide that support because we want to lock in these events because they bring such enormous economic benefit. We've spoken a lot this morning about the opportunity to celebrate our creative and sporting capital Prares, but also too the reason why we are so aggressive in hosting these events is because they support tens of thousands of jobs in our local community week in, week out. And when you have a pipeline, it means you're supporting those jobs week in, week out, that in turn lifts the ability for those companies and organisations to host the events. So this brings a great economic boost to our city and state, alongside a fantastic energising boost to our city and state, and again gives people, as if I can pinch what Nick's just mentioned, whether you're a cricket lover, tennis lover, MotoGP lover, a horse lover, you love the AFL, you know that you can find all of these events for a long time to come right here in Melbourne.
You actually slashed Visit Victoria's budget in the last budget where they brought for the next forward estimates. So is this cost already included in that budget, or is that included in
the support for this package comes through the support we're providing to Visit Victoria, and it's part of that ongoing work that the team in Visit Victoria do to look at how we can not just secure these sorts of events, but look at how we can build on them as well. The opportunity to welcome India here to the Boxing Day test. We're not just welcoming the Indian team, we'll be welcoming the entire Indian community. And if I can follow Scott's shout out to ensure that it'll be a packed ground. We know that the Indian community here in Victoria is so much looking forward to the Indian national team playing here. So are many Victorians. They're two of the top teams in the world are going to be playing here, and that's why we've worked hard with Visit Victoria to secure this arrangement.
With your coming trip to India, so
Yep.
how are you planning to attract all the Indian crowd from India?
Yes.
Are you planning anything from there?
So my forthcoming trip to India in just a few weeks' time gives me the opportunity to continue to build on the incredibly strong relationship we have, both the economic and cultural relationship we have with India. We are proud that Melbourne and Victoria is home to the largest Indian-born population here in Australia. And that means that there's mums and dads, doctors and nurses and engineers and lawyers and academics all raising their family here and making a wonderful contribution to our city and state. And that gives us the platform on which we can further strengthen that relationships. There'll be opportunity to strengthen that relationship through our education and research and innovation space, but also too our cultural. Part of my trip will focus on strengthening those cultural ties, both through the film industry and also with cricket. So I'm very much looking forward during my Indian trip to India, focusing on spending time around Delhi, to talking every step of the way with the Indian community about why the eyeballs of India should be on what's going on here at the MCG from the 26th of December.
Nick, do you mind just just with Brisbane, which is a very short-term deal, and I suppose the situation is a bit in limbo, where's that at from your perspective, and what do you envisage Test cricket's going to look like in India, in Brisbane, beyond 26?
So, I mean, clearly there've been some announcements around the Gabba and some investments in the Gabba. I think everyone's waiting to understand what the stadia strategy is going to be going forward, and I think that was ultimately behind the Queensland government's decision to really commit to a 2-year arrangement at this stage. So we're in very regular dialogue with all the relevant parties up in Queensland, and those discussions will continue over the coming months.
Does CEO have a preference for what that looks like? There's been talk about the stadium on the Victoria Park, I believe. What do you think that looks like?
I think we're interested in the best provision for cricket and for cricket fans into the long term. I think there've been what has become clear is that the useful economic life of the Gabba is kind of nearing an end point. I think we welcome that there'll be further investment in the near term, but we are really interested, and we think that the sports fans of Queensland deserve brilliant fit for purpose stadium for the longer term. So that's what we're interested to understand what that will look like.
And why have you gone for day-night test at the Gabba next summer?
I think the beauty about the next upcoming seasons is we've got prime time test matches or time adjusted test matches in November and early December, when everyone is still at school and at work, and then moving into the summer holidays we're playing day tests in the day, followed by Big Bash matches in the evening. So what that means is just throughout really from the start of the cricket season all the way through to the end, with WBBL now on prime time in major stadia, with the test matches with white ball early in the season, and then through to the tests and Big Bash on. There's fantastic elite world level cricket on every night all the way through the summer. So it was equally it's a great opportunity for day-night cricket to be played across more venues, so more people see day-night Test cricket. Adelaide was obviously the first. The Gabba's now going to have an opportunity, and here in January we're playing the first ever day-night Test at the MCG, which